Hi, welcome to A Course in Miracles workbook class, brought to you from the Little Garden in Sedona, Arizona, USA.
What are we doing today?
Today we are in A Course in Miracles workbook Review 5. And so that starts lesson 171, but we're going to talk a lot about this introduction to the review because it's so beautiful and also has so much in it.
But
I mean, it's like a lesson in itself.
So just a little clarification.
Yeah.
This is the one for today.
Oh, 172, sorry.
In my defense.
Yes.
Small point, but that is the one.
Oh, that's today. A big point, yeah.
Okay,
172.
So the introduction.
Yeah. So today we'll review again, and this time we're going to give more time, more effort, more sincere determination to do it. And up until now, for the last, more than 2 weeks, we've been doing a morning practice as much time as possible. He says 5 minutes is the least. Half an hour is not too much. Do a good morning practice where you take the idea and you chew on it, you digest it, you work with it, you let it get into your system. Mm-hmm. And the same thing at night. And then during the day, on the hour, stop for just a minute, just a moment, and bring to mind that course lesson.
Right. And so the hourlies, like love is the way I walk in gratitude. If we want to walk in love, then if we stop once an hour and give thanks for all the loving guidance we got in the hour before, and then open up to all the loving guidance we can get in the hour that's coming, we break this kind of grip of time. Us, right? Yeah.
And that is a part of it that I tend to forget. I'll think about the hourly, I'll think about the lesson on the hour, but I want to really remember now that I want to really remember to give thanks for the past hour and the times that I have chosen to think with God instead of with ego.
That's it. Yes. Be grateful for that freedom.
Yeah.
Like we're freeing ourselves moment to moment.
Yeah.
We're remembering the strength of the truth of who we are.
That's another example of how the Course builds and gets richer and richer the more we do it.
Yeah.
Because, I've been doing it for years, but that particular part of it, not so much.
Yeah.
So now it's time. So ask yourself, to what extent can you make a deeper commitment to these lessons? And we'll talk about what the lessons mean, that God is but love part, after we go through some of this review.
Yeah, so two things I'd point out in this first paragraph, and that is from sentence 3, we recognize we're preparing for another phase of understanding.
Yeah.
So in the last review, he said the same thing. So this is the workbook's division between part 1 and part 2. Part 1, we're letting go of ego thinking.
Right.
And the second phase of understanding is we're learning to accept Holy Spirit's thinking.
Right.
Right. So in this last sentence, this is the goal for this practice period. But now we hasten on, for we approach a greater certainty. So certainty is happiness in the Course. If you're certain that love will always be there, we want to increase that certainty. And then a firmer purpose. What is my purpose? To remember who I am, to learn forgiveness. And then what is my goal? The goal now is the truth of who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let attack and defense, try to convince me I'm this illusion of a lack of love. I'm this illusion of a body.
And a victim.
Yeah. So we hasten on for greater certainty, firmer purpose, and a surer goal.
Yeah. And then there's that really beautiful prayer. Generally in the Course, when you see italics, it's a prayer. And this one obviously is because it says, "Steady our feet, our Father." It's a direct address to God himself.
Yeah.
And our, as you will see as we go through, means Jesus is walking with us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's with us. He knows that we're walking through an illusory, dark forest that's scary.
Yeah.
But he knows
It's not scary.
that it's not scary, and it's not even a dark forest. It's the light of God. We're in it, but he's walking with us. And that's a theme throughout this introduction.
See, the thing that I've always said about the course is practice is not opening night.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, right.
We get to practice
Yeah,
this.
it's rehearsal.
It's rehearsal. We
Yeah.
get to practice this.
Uh-huh.
So when we see ourselves as a learner, then we're more gentle with ourselves.
Right.
Like I'm not expected to know what I'm here to learn.
Right.
So let me have a space to learn something new, right? Like that. But the fact that love, that God itself or himself or herself can speak to me even here is amazing.
Yeah.
Because the old scriptural injunctions were just do this, and don't do that. It was all about action.
And then God won't punish you.
And then
if you do it right, God won't punish you.
Yeah, and you probably won't. You probably won't do it right.
Yeah.
But steady our feet.
It's not the course.
But steady our feet.
Yeah.
Let our minds be quiet. We don't have any words.
Yeah.
Right? We don't understand that these fear thoughts are not true or unbelievable. We need to give them to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
We need to say, I don't understand.
Right.
I don't understand why this person is this way or this situation. I'm scared of this.
Let me see this differently.
Yeah.
Help me.
And that's what Jesus really reinforced through this review. He says, I know this isn't true, but I also know you're confused.
Yeah.
So I'm here to help.
Right.
And you can be here to help others through this.
Yes, right. Yeah. Well, here's the theme of children again.
Yeah.
It says, lead our practicing as does a father lead a little child along a way he doesn't understand. So when we take the place, when we move into the mind of a child who doesn't know, doesn't understand, we'll stop telling God what we need. And we'll say, help me. Help me. I know you're there. Yeah.
Right. That's I love the way you said that. We quit telling God what we need, right?
Yeah. Timothy has this expression, my will be done by thee. You know, that's the old way of petitionary prayer.
Yeah.
God, I know what I need. Now I'm going to tell you, and you should do that for me. But when we take the attitude, the mindset of a small child, we know that we don't know.
Right.
If we're experiencing pain in any respect, we don't know. That area needs to be healed. So when we say, God, lead us along the path of our practicing.
Yeah.
In other words, when we're doing our practice, morning, evening, and on the hour, God is with us by our request, and so is Jesus, as we'll see further.
I mean, what I like about this, then the second paragraph in this prayer, and you're right, it is a prayer. So do we bring our practicing to you. And if we stumble, you will raise us up.
Right.
If we forget, we count upon your remembering. We wander off and you'll call us back. So why that's really valuable to me is that I recognize, like, I have to give this away to realize I have it, right? I have a function of forgiveness, but I have to remember that it's God's strength.
Right.
That I need.
Right.
To see no value in this illusion.
Right.
I need that strength from my source.
Right.
And I need that strength to make another choice.
So the alternative would be the little child thinks he or she knows how to forgive.
Right.
And the answer is no, we do not.
Right.
When we have the willingness to forgive, because we have the willingness to finally choose happiness for ourselves.
Yeah.
We'd rather be happy than right. But then we have to ask for help. Show us, Father. Show us, Jesus. Show us, Saint so-and-so. Show us how to forgive.
Yeah. Lead the practice.
Yeah. So, this idea of we might stumble, we might forget the way, we might wander off. In the world's viewpoint, that might be called sin. Hey, I was angry for weeks at that person, or I felt hurt and I really nurtured my hurt. Oh, poor me. That's just getting off the path. That's all that is. And we want to say, help me. I know you're here to help me. It's like, okay, so I hike a lot. And the hiking paths, sometimes there's what we call social paths, like unofficial paths going off. And sometimes there's these things called washes, which are just like places where water comes down when there is water. And they kind of look like a path sometimes. And I could get off on one of those without realizing I'm not going to get to my destination. But to use the analogy it's here, I could say, Dad, where are you? Father, where are you? It's okay to call God Dad or Mom.
Yeah.
Really, whatever works for you. Jesus called God the Father Abba, which means daddy.
Yeah.
It's a very intimate kind of term.
Yeah.
This might be of interest to you. I once knew a former rabbinical student who told me that in the Old Testament, in the Jewish tradition, God is called Father very, very rarely. Is hardly ever a concept or a word that's applied. Jesus was new for that. And he said, the one prayer, the Lord's Prayer, starts out, our Father. Jesus is not saying, he's not telling us to pray, Father of Jesus. No, he's saying, our Father. And that's a close connection. That's someone who knew us from a baby.
Yeah. So he's going to go and describe for us that what we want to recover is this truth of who we are.
Yes.
And that's expressed.
The glory, the power, the amazing being that we are.
Right. And that's expressed in this phrase he wants us to use, God is but love and therefore so am I. But what's important about Jesus's role here is that he's saying, I understand you're confused. Right. But I'm going to meet you there.
Right.
I'm going to share your concerns. I'm going to share your fears. I know that they don't have any meaning, but I know that you don't see it that way.
Right.
So he's asking us essentially to be the same way, to meet the world in the same way. We're confused about what the real problem is. We need help in understanding. We need the strength that's beyond what ours are.
Right.
So he's acknowledging, that you're confused.
And he's still asking us to be a teacher.
And asking us to be a teacher, despite the fact that the truth of who we are has never changed.
Right.
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 But that we've just pushed out of our mind. And he's saying, I'm going to meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
I'll steady your feet. I will call you back to the path when you wander on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's easy to give in to fears of, I'm dealing with very difficult people. Their personalities are certain ways. They always it's very easy to make fear real. And he recognizes that, that we don't even see that we're doing that. So he's saying, I will be your strength.
Yeah.
I will be your memory.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you were mostly working with paragraph 6 there.
Yeah.
But I'd like to talk, if you don't mind, about the I and the self that starts to show up in paragraph 4.
That's really good.
Okay. So we're supposed to take the thought, God is but love, and therefore so am I. And each time we use it, it clarifies the thought that we're reviewing. So today, in my defenselessness, my safety lies, and what is the other one? I'm among the ministers of God. So saying God is but love, and therefore so am I, we kind of wrap those ideas with this thought that runs through the whole thing.
This theme of God is but love, and therefore so am I. That is a theme that we wrap around each lesson. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. And then the defenselessness makes that be more true.
Yes.
This love is more true
Yes.
now because I've dropped my defenses.
Yes.
Right?
We understand it better.
Yeah.
So it says that each thought clarifies some aspect of this thought, the theme, or helps it be more meaningful, more personal and true, more descriptive of the holy self we share. That's capital S, self. That's the sonship. That's the wholeness of our being. We don't exist as individuals in bodies. We exist as the love of God that we share with every bit of creation. That's the meaning of accepting the atonement.
Yeah.
We are one self. Well, we don't generally think that way. So we're being trained to think that way. And the Course uses its strange little language foibles. Okay, that's just my opinion, my judgment. All right, okay. I couldn't have written the Course. God is but love. God is only love. It's really a good thing to put these things in your own words. God is only love. God is pure love. God is nothing but love. Those are ways to say this.
Right. So this last sentence in paragraph 1, where he says, here's where we're going.
Yeah.
This is what we're trying to approach. A sure goal. Yeah. Now what he's saying in this, God is but love and therefore so am I. This is the goal of this course and its learning.
Yes.
This is the self that waits for you.
Yes.
As you're learning these abilities to be a miracle worker, learning to forgive. This is what's waiting for you. Is the truth of who you are, and that this course is going to lead you step by step to find this light inside that reveals the miracles that are there, that you're going to offer to the world, that will help you remember and somebody else remember who they are.
Yeah, it's like a spiral.
Yeah.
We have a little bit, we give it, receive more. We give that, we receive more understanding.
Right.
And so the giving helps, the giving of miracles or of love to every part of myself, which is everybody, helps me to recognize what myself is.
So an example of that could be is that I'm dealing with this personality, and I think from an ego standpoint that there's certain personality attributes about this person that are really destructive, and I need to be afraid of those.
And run away from them.
And I need fear to guide how I will act or think or feel in the situation. And
that's ego.
And he's saying that's what you can stop.
Yeah.
You can stop valuing fear.
Yeah.
If just for a moment and say, God is but love, and therefore so am I. I have the love within me right now to offer to the situation, despite the fact that it may be seeming to hurt me. So I drop my defenses of I've got to focus on what's wrong with them.
Right.
I recognize I'm making this fear up, and that the Holy Spirit's going to give me a miracle that will eliminate the fear.
Thank God.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is the goal that we're reaching.
Yeah. As we read in the text with our Sunday group, our Zoom group, our YouTube group, as we do that, we're recognizing how more and more it's about recognizing what we are or who we are or what we are and letting go of the ego identification. And there's a place which somewhere in the Course which says, you think that without the ego, everything would be chaos.
Right.
Think about it. That's what we think when we're thinking with the ego, when we're thinking with fear. If I don't watch out, I'm going to be hurt. You think that without the ego, all would be chaos. But no, without the ego, all would be love. We are safe. And that's the meaning to me of in my defenselessness, my safety lies.
Yeah.
When I stop consulting the fear thoughts, I will see that I am safe.
Right.
I am safe because my mind is powerful and my mind is in God. Hey, that reminds me of another little technique. By the way, on Wednesday, so our next class, Timothy isn't going to be here. And so I'm going to do something a little different, which is to show you how to use some tools. And we do this all the time, but I'm going to put it together in one class.
Cool.
And one of them is the hidden premise. Okay, so there's a hidden premise in God is but love, and therefore so am I. Logic usually is A and B, therefore C, right?
Mhm.
And we only have A here. So what's the B? If you think about it, sometimes those hidden premises are made to make us think for ourselves. God is but love. Here's one way to put it. I am part of God. Therefore, I am love. Does that make sense? We need to see what's missing there. Maybe you already intuited how that all worked, but sometimes bringing it up into our conscious awareness helps. And that's kind of how I do my practice with this lesson.
That's really good, because he's saying, if you come into the present,
Mm-hmm.
if you're able to just for a moment, drop regrets
Mm-hmm.
or anxiety about the future, and he's training us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember in the text section where he said, if you put yourself in an impossible situation,
Right.
like love is gone,
Right.
then the kind of solution was for you to develop your abilities.
Right.
So if I can stop for that one moment, he's saying, and you come into the present when you're conscious of this dynamic, you will choose
Yes.
the miracle.
Yeah.
You will choose forgiveness.
Right.
So that's why watching the thoughts and bringing them up, so these emotions don't turn into a feeling or a mood, and then it's just a blur.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
step by step is what he's saying. This course has been sent to us that we learn these new skills. Instead of giving attack back to what we see as attack,
Mm-hmm.
we give love.
We recognize through the training of the course, the mind training,
Yeah.
that if I'm seeing attack out there, it's because I put it out there.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, as you were implying, is bringing the unconscious to consciousness and then giving it to Holy Spirit. The word consciousness is used differently in the course than it's used in Eastern traditions. Consciousness in the course is what we're aware of here. Okay, it's kind of a normal usage. It's not, I don't need to interpret Buddhism and Hinduism, but they use the word differently. So just be aware of that. So what we have unconscious is that which we have deliberately forgotten. And that is at the base of it, I am part of the mind of God.
See, that's really important, because he's trying to train us to see that when the truth of who we are begins to dawn on us,
Mm-hmm.
like we start acting on the love and the forgiveness, then the ego brings up all these defenses.
Yes.
Like sickness is a defense.
Right.
Like the truth of you is beginning to dawn on you. You're able to overlook the situation and offer healing, offer forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that ability is what we're developing in that moment.
Yeah.
Moment to moment, we can make that choice. And then it's easy. Then it's not like I kept throwing that into the closet for the last year and a half, and now it's just a mess. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's turned into a blur.
Yeah.
But moment to moment, it's gentle.
And we do throw those kinds of upsets into the closet in the name of false forgiveness.
Yeah.
And so they become unconscious motivators.
Yeah.
So we wonder why we snap at that person, right?
That's a good example.
Yeah. But even deeper than that is the love of God that we've hidden.
Yeah.
So there's the love of God, which when we decided to incarnate in a body and think that we're a body and believe the words of the teachings of our senses as what's real, when we did that, we pushed down the truth that we are love and we are powerful and glorious. We pushed that down into the unconscious and covered it up with all kinds of stuff. And the ego says, don't look inside. You're going to find all kinds of crap. You're
Yeah.
just going to find the garbage that you put there. Well, you will, but so what? Take it out. Take it out. It's as if, to use your closet metaphor, you got all kinds of, what grandpa did and what the gas station attendant did and what that other person did. And all that goes into the closet because I'm a nice person and I would never blame anybody. So it's all kinds of unconscious attack there in the closet. And we take them out one by one as they occur to us, because they're going to occur in the moment. It'll have a different form. Instead of grandpa, maybe it's a memory of grandpa, or maybe it's somebody reminds us of grandpa. Take it out, say, "Ooh, that hurts." Holy Spirit, take that. And the more we clean out the unconscious stuff, the more we get to the bottom of it, which is the love of God.
That's right. It's also important to note that when we start acting on our loving nature,
Yeah.
the ego's going, "You're nuts.
Yeah, right.
You're not. Wait, look at the way they behave. Look at the way they are. You're crazy. What do you mean?
You must be outraged.
And
where's justice?
Ego wants us to question our loving nature, and
Yes.
especially when we're being loving.
Right.
And it goes, "You're crazy."
Yeah. So just don't listen to
That's
it.
just not listening to it. Maybe you want to open up to some questions, or do you want to go? We got a few minutes.
We got a few minutes. I'd like to. We can do that. Let's just keep on.
Okay,
We
go for
haven't
it.
gotten close to the end of this.
That's true.
Okay, so in paragraphs 7 and 8, you might want to look at that when it appears at first that Jesus is talking about his personal self as the author of this book and as our companion. And that is true. And he's also talking about the one self we share, which is the Christ.
Right.
So the me, release me, means me, as well as Jesus and Timothy and all of you. Release the true self from this false set of beliefs by practicing this course. So
Right. So in these previous lessons, let me not deny the thought of God. He said, now the power of Christ is in you. Now you have the eyes and the ears and the hands and the feet of Christ. But Jesus is saying in this review, he said, let this review then be your gift to me. See, here's where he teaches us. He begins to teach us that we're equal to him in our ability to be loving.
Yeah.
And he needs us to be that voice in the world. So in paragraph 9, sentence 2, it says, or sentence 3, you are my voice, my eyes, my feet, my hands, through which I save the world. So you're absolutely right. It's the Christ self that's healing itself.
Yeah.
But Jesus is also saying, I mean, he laid down his body, he transcended it, but he needs us to bring this message out.
Right.
So when we think about our true power in any situation, we can overlook those fears.
Right.
We don't have to act from that fear or the guilt or, I'm not good enough, none of that.
Right. I want to direct you, if you're interested, there's a very interesting section in the clarification of terms, which is at the end of the teacher's manual. And on page 87 of the manual, there is a clarification of what is Jesus and what is the Christ. And that will help you to understand what the self is. And, it's like, it's really fine if we think of Jesus as a personality, a person, he says, you are my hands and feet. Well, so we are acting for this other person, but really, in the broader sense, we're acting from the one self that is the Son of God. When we do that, it's like Jesus helps us to make that transition. And he also says someplace that maybe it's in that section, that he is the Holy Spirit. It's like There's nothing left in him. Someplace in the text it says there's nothing left in Jesus of the ego. There's no ego left in him. So when you join with him, you are joining your true self.
See,